Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise in opposition to House Bill 501 sub A, not to stall progress, but to protect it. Not to shut down the conversation on affordable housing, but to ask that we take a smarter and more realistic approach than the one in this bill. Let me be clear. I support affordable housing. In Cranston, we've made it a priority. As a member of the City Council, I supported zoning changes and development plans that could bring 600 new apartment units to Cranston. 75 of those would be affordable. That's not a talking point. That's taking real action. But this House bill doesn't reward responsible local planning. It overrides responsibility. Right now, Rhode Island law allows developers to apply for a comprehensive permit, which lets them bypass local zoning if 25% of the proposed housing units are deed restricted affordable. However, municipalities can deny these permits if they meet one of two benchmarks. 10% of their total housing stock is affordable, or 15% of their rental housing is affordable. If the municipality has at least 5,000 rental units and 25% of its total housing stock is rental. Cranston, Warwick, West Warwick, and North Providence currently meet that 15% rental threshold. Under current law, these communities are exempt, but this bill would remove that exemption. Developers could ignore local zoning. This is not right and will be counterproductive. And this isn't an abstract issue. In Weston Cranston, our elementary schools are already at capacity. If one large development demanded by a developer moves forward, we could be forced to build a new middle school at a cost of around $130 million. And now that the state school constructions reimbursement program no longer covers up to 75%, the state would pay significantly less, leaving local taxpayers, thank you, Mr. Speaker, responsible for millions in new infrastructure costs. This is what happens when the state imposes mandates without funding them. Roads, schools, public safety come with a cost. And when we ignore that cost, we are not solving a housing crisis. Instead, we're creating a governance crisis. The state's own Housing 2030 report calls a comprehensive permit a blunt instrument. The report stated that the comprehensive permit law discourages municipalities from approving more market rate housing, and that the 10% goal fails to incentivize progress. Yet, instead of addressing these problems, this bill doubles down on a flawed system. This bill also continues to rely on a definition of affordable housing that is far too narrow. In most cases, only deed-restricted units are counted. So does an in-law apartment built for an aging parent count? No. Does a modest home where a senior lives with municipal property tax relief count? No. Does an older, lower rent apartment that's truly affordable to a working family count? No. These homes are affordable, but this law doesn't recognize them since they are not deed restricted. To make matters worse, the amended version of this bill adds confusion. It says that even if a city meets the 10% affordability goal, it can only deny a comprehensive permit if it adopts an inclusionary zoning ordinance requiring 15% of all new housing to be affordable. That directly contradicts the Housing 2030 report, which recommends a 10% affordability target for future development in those communities. So what are the municipalities supposed to follow?
1 minute.
10 or 15%. We're setting moving targets and expecting cities and towns to keep up without clear guidance and without support they need. We do need more housing in Rhode Island, but that doesn't mean we should remove every safeguard that allows communities to plan responsibly. This bill is not the solution. It's a shortcut with consequences. I urge my colleagues to think about your own cities and towns. Think about the impacts to your schools, your roads, your taxpayers, and your ability to govern responsibly. If you haven't reviewed your school's capacity, if you haven't spoken to your planning commissioners or zoning board members, if you haven't asked your finance directors what another unfunded mandate will mean to taxpayers, I urge you to think long and hard about that before you vote on this bill. This bill strips away local control from our communities that are already contributing and replaces it with uncertainty and costs.